go. Let's go. Somehow, for the very first time, actually, since we signed him, Bruno Gimenez does not play a single minute of a Premier League game, and we win. And obviously, as you guys can tell, obviously, just a few minutes ago, Newcastle United have beaten Manchester United in the Premier League. As always, welcome to the Magpie Creampie Show, as I like to call it. And big up to Sir Titines as well, a Manchester United fan. How are you feeling?
Yeah, a bit disappointed, but yeah, I mean, listen, like from a United point of view, we're still 4 points clear of Champions League football, and that's ultimately all I care about. I don't care how we do it on goal difference, 1 point, 5 point, 10 points. I don't care. I just don't really care about us making Champions League football next season, and yeah, we're still in a good position to do that. A bit disappointing for the unbeaten run to come to an end. I think it was going to happen sooner or later. We have a poor record at St James's Park. We haven't won there since 2021, and that was when no fans were there. So yeah, disappointing as well from the team today. I thought they would definitely had the chances to win it, and Boomer in the first half should have scored. I think Yodo should have scored in that second half. Xerxes had an amazing shot on goal, and like I thought Ramsdale was Newcastle's man of the match. He had an unbelievable performance, and yeah. So on another day we could have won it for sure. But in fair play to Newcastle, I think even when they were down to 10 men, they didn't really care. They just went for it, didn't give in. They like a lot of teams would just park the bus, but no, they went for it. In the end, Malacia, of course, Mazraoui unfortunately had to come off with an injury. Malacia has only played 2 games in the Premier League all season, so he's very unreliable. And of course, was very poor for that goal. But it was also, I think, OSULA, I'm sorry, that's something like that. His name, very good finish from him and a very good run. And yeah, I think it was just one of those smash and grab games. And well, yeah, Newcastle came out on top. So yeah, I think fair enough. And yeah, I think very important for you guys as well because you have probably one of the biggest games in your history this week against Barcelona. So, yeah.
Yeah. And we'll also add in another guest. I hope this still works. AD744, if he's on or whatever. But whenever he comes on, but yeah, that was more of your thoughts on the game. For me, obviously, the first half, I would say actually throughout the entire game, we were the better team in terms of performance, but I would say Man United had more, you could say, more better quality chances, I would say, which is what I think was probably how the game would have went, especially I mean, I guess we can talk about the first sort of incident.
Yeah.
Was he swimming? Was Jacob Ramsey swimming? Was he
Okay.
diving?
Hello, hello.
I think it might be a dive, but the thing is, I personally and this benefits United, but I'll say this: I never agree with players getting yellow cards for diving, because, like, by this logic, Neymar should have more red cards than Sergio Ramos if we're using this logic. So, like, yeah, I never really like it, especially on a second yellow. Like, I'm fine if, like, on a first yellow, if you want to book him for diving, I'm okay with that. But even then, they never really do it. Like, it's always so inconsistent. Like I say, some given, some not given. So I'd rather they just not give it at all. So yeah, I think definitely
You have to
that
give
was
yellow for diving.
But
no,
was
but
it
like,
a dive? That's
but
the
there's so
thing.
many. Uh, but the thing is, I've seen so many instances where players don't get yellow cards for diving. Like, how many times have you watched Neymar? How many times does he get yellow cards?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's on the referees though. The referees should be changed.
yeah, so like, yeah, it's a difference, like, of course.
Exactly. And once again, the referee Peter Banks
Yellow
decides,
cards.
you know what? Let me do this by myself. I'm going to control the game. Um,
To
you
be fair,
know,
they give you a penalty.
I didn't think it was,
Yeah,
even if it was a dive, it didn't look like he was going to dive. I mean,
yeah.
obviously, it looked like Lamens was obviously trying to get the ball. He didn't get the ball, and then Ramsey,
There's no contact.
more or less, kind of maybe a heavy touch kicked it out of bounds. But then obviously, maybe the momentum he falls or something, which I don't think it was a penalty. I think it's just like a player just kicked it
Yeah,
out of bounds technically.
yeah,
But
yeah.
obviously Peter Banks, being a referee, decides to give a second yellow for swimming or diving, whatever you want to call it. I was like, why? Like then that means I'm going to say this: every single player that falls down should get a yellow card, no matter what. Like even if the ball's not near them, if they fall down by whatever reason, like maybe run out of space or whatever to run or whatever, you have to book them yellow card for swimming. Because I was like, what? What do you mean that it was a yellow card or basically a
No. Yeah, you're back now.
Oh, okay. I don't know what happened there, but I don't know where I stopped. But what I was basically saying is that, like, I don't know how that was a second yellow, basically. And I'll be honest, even though it eventually didn't, well, it did mean something, but it didn't mean in terms of the result, like us losing or whatever, or not getting 3 points. But still,
back.
at that time, I'm like, bro, really? And obviously, that wasn't the only thing in that, literally extra time of the first half. Then Anthony Gordon, basically, you could say, gets fouled in the box and gets a penalty. And as always, I think he's like had the perfect record on penalties since the season has started. Scores a goal, and then we go 1-0 up. But once again, after scoring, we concede. It's happened so many times, especially at home this season. Obviously, that happened twice this past Saturday, wherever it was, against Everton. And I just think that when Man United score in like the 9th, 10th minute of added time of the first half, I'm like, one, why can't we just defend, maybe stay it out, and also the referee added 3 minutes. I didn't think that the entire amount of time, 3 playing minutes, allowed nearly 10 minutes. I don't think there was that much stoppages between the announcement of 3 minutes and the Casemiro goal to say that is 3 added minutes when the goal was scored in the 9th, 10th minute. So yeah, what were your thoughts on that sort of after the red card and then the 2 goals before halftime?
The thing is, VAR are very slow. Like they took some time on that Ramsey decision. They took a bit of time with that Gordon decision as well, and there were the celebrations. So I do kind of get it. And also, of course, I think the game was going by very slow at that point. So yeah, I don't think it's like I don't think it's as bad as the red card decision. And I mean, at the end of the day, from a Newcastle perspective, you still have to defend the corner because ultimately that's the decision which because after that free kick, the half was over, so they just have to defend this corner. Defend this free kick, sorry, and then the half was over. But they didn't, and I mean, but like we have been like one of the best free set piece teams this season. Unlike Arsenal, our set pieces are actually halal, not haram. So yeah, and and I mean, very good cross by Bruno, Casemiro with the header as well. And yeah, honestly, I think it was just that like 1-1 at halftime. I think it was deserved because Mbeumo should have scored before that whole that card instant. So yeah, like ultimately, I kind of get it. Like the extra time might have been a bit inflated, but ultimately you have to defend the free kick kind of well. You weren't able to do so, but yeah. So well, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I don't know if AD is on, but what are your thoughts in that first half, basically?
I'm gonna be honest. I was kind of more focused on the title race. I was more focused on Arsenal and City games, so I don't really have much thoughts on this one. So
well, I mean, probably watching Arsenal is the most. I saw they had 1 shot on target and won 1-0 against Brighton.
Hey, I mean, as long as you're winning, that's all that matters.
You know what? If Newcastle starts playing haram ball and wins the Premier League, then sure, I'll be shameless. But yeah, I don't know if you watch any of that first half between the red cord, the 2 goals, and halftime.
I mean, I did see that. I saw Newcastle go down a man, and then they scored the penalty. I was like, wow. So that kind of made me surprised. I was thinking through like the score thing, the FOMO thing. So, but yeah, and then I was like, oh my geez, United's probably gonna win this game.
Which one?
The red card.
Okay, which one?
Well, Manchester United.
Yeah, and big up Lewis as well. Lewis, obviously, if you want to join, feel free, but I guess not. Yeah, no worries. But yeah, obviously, halftime. I don't mind removing the tag, but halftime, second half started, and you would probably think, Man United with a man up would take the initiative, but they didn't. I would say the first 20, 25 minutes of that second half, I would say we were a better team, which I'm like, I don't know, maybe for Man United it was just slow, lethargic, that sort of thing, that first 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, I think it was mainly just due to Casemiro. You could tell he was really tired, and like at this age now, like normally we play 1 game a week, but this time we had like 3 to 4 days. Like my Palace and today, there were like 3 to 4 days gap between it, and Casemiro completed a full 90 against Palace. So I think it was just him being tired, and we just lost control of the midfield. But you could tell as soon as Ugarte came on, we got control of the game again.
Yeah, and obviously Man United's next game is in 11 days from now. Newcastle's is in 3 days. And then we play another 3 days later.
Yeah. What's funny is that we'll probably swap positions next season.
Yeah. And then we'll probably, because we'll probably not be in Europe, but yeah, obviously that second half, eventually Man United did get a little bit more control of the ball in terms of possession, had some chances, but I would say most of those chances were near the sort of end-ish of the game. But there was an opportunity for us, Anthony Gordon from a corner, which was, I guess, a really good corner routine. I forgot who was marking Anthony Gordon. I think it was Mainu. I think someone like that. And obviously Gordon, had he, got there maybe a split second ahead of the ball, I think it goes in unless Lamens makes like godlike save or something. I would say it's probably a goal if Gordon's a split second early. But then obviously Man United had a few chances. The 2 notable ones I remember were Euro, that Ramsdale save, and then what's the other one? The Ugarte, I think it was Ugarte, the looping header. I think Ramsdale saved as well. I forgot which one was first or second. So I would actually say, Ramsdale obviously had a good game, and no surprise because who do you call this? Eddie Howe dropped Nick Pope finally, and Ramsdale, for the first time actually turned up as a goalkeeper. I don't think Ramsdale was that good, but at least he showed quality, because I think if Nick Pope was in goal, I think we don't win that game. I think Ramsdale is a big plus as to why we obviously ended up winning the game or not lose the game, because it was 1-1 during the times he made the saves. And obviously he had that save with Xerxes that was also going in maybe 2-3 minutes before we actually scored. But yeah, what were your thoughts with those sort of chances when Man United finally got the sort of more possession chances and all?
I thought we probably, like what we did from an honest 70th minute, we probably sort of like been doing that from the beginning of the second half. If we did, we probably would have comfortably won the game. But no, we let Newcastle grow into the game a lot, but then we had to come back. We kind of wasted 20 to 25 minutes. But then I think Euro probably should have scored that chance. The other two chances I think are fine. Like Garte, don't think it's not like one of those where he has to score. Same with Xerxes. I mean, that was like what a shot from outside the box. And I think it was just fine margins really. On another day we definitely could have won. I think Mazraoui coming off as well. I mean, who knows? If Mazraoui stayed on, does he get spun like that by OSULA? and stoppage time. You know, we don't know. So yeah. But no, I think full credit to Newcastle because I do think we had better chances, but like considering that like we're playing against 10 men, like yeah, like definitely punched above your weight, and yeah, it hurt as well. Because of course I was keeping an eye on Tonali because like I don't mean any disrespect, but like I was linked with him. Might be an option for us in the summer. Newcastle have to sell as well, I believe, this summer, especially if they don't get Europe. And he was amazing. I thought in the first 60, 70 minutes he was completely running the game. But then probably last 20 minutes, everything was going through Bruno Fernandes. I thought he was. Then it became his game. I thought probably a man of the match. Like everything was going through him. Like all the times that we talked about, all of them were credited by Bruno Fernandes. So yeah. But yeah, just got a bit unlucky, and yeah, no fair play to Newcastle.
AD, what were your thoughts before the Newcastle goal, the second one? I mean, if he's still there.
Yeah, I mean, I expected maybe a draw. Potentially, I didn't expect Newcastle to score that, and the fact they did is crazy. And to win with 10 men, I mean, that's even more impressive. You know, and to beat Manchester United, Manchester United have been so informed for the last, you can say, the last couple of weeks. You know, Newcastle have 10 men after, so
Audio.
Is it better now?
Teatiness.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, I mean, I just think that for Newcastle, man, that's what we love about football is that unpredictable stuff can happen, and that's the beauty with the sport, you know. And for Newcastle, I think I remember a few seasons ago, I think Liverpool beat Newcastle with 10 men, I think, right?
Yeah.
How many times? Probably 7,000 times, I would say.
So now you finally get a win with 10 men, though not against Liverpool. So, or maybe will.
Yeah. But
So.
But yeah, obviously, you know, the substitution of bringing on, because we obviously made substitutions. It took us, apart from the halftime sub, bringing on Willock, and taking off Harvey Barnes, because I don't think Barnes really did that much. But obviously, the reason why we had to make the Willock sub is because, you know, obviously Peter Banks loves taking out cards, yellow, red, and all that. So, but then when we made the subs of OSULA and Murphy, meh. But OSULA, when he got the first touch of the ball, which was just, you know, holding up the ball and passing it to Lewis Hall, whatever I think it was, it looked like he was very lively, OSULA. And, you know, obviously when just before the goal, you know, Man United had maybe a chance to attack around our box. And then the player that actually won the ball back was Will OSULA. I forgot who was the one he took it off of, but gives it to Trippier, and Trippier makes a good pass all the way down on the right wing that OSULA was already chasing the ball, and then did one or two step overs past, I forgot who he beat in a way. I think it was Maguire or Malacia. And then obviously when he hit that ball, and I don't know why, I could tell it was going in once it made that little curve. I was like, you know what? If this goes in, and obviously he scored, and I was like, my first reaction was like, fair play. You know, he won the ball back, and then obviously chased the ball, and then obviously, you know, really good finish. Maybe Lemans could have done something with it, but I think it was a good goal.
Maguire, because Maguire was right in front of him, so he couldn't have seen the ball.
Yeah, and then obviously OSULA gets his moment, I would say, because he's only really scored he scored like 4 goals all season, but none of them really mattered as much. Obviously, the one I can remember was when we lost to Liverpool at home, first home game.
Oh yeah, Rio.
Of the season, he scored the equalizer, but we ended up losing as usual. But yeah, OSULA getting his moment that actually led to us winning a game, which is good. Yeah, it was, I would say, a really good finish. Like, I was surprised that he came on. I was like, why is he coming on, not Jon Wissa? You know, we were playing with no striker for practically the entire game until we subbed off Gordon for OSULA. And I don't really rate OSULA, but this for those 15 minutes or whatever, how long he was in that game, fair play. Fair play for actually doing really well and also getting the goal. I'm not going to say he should be starting every game, OSULA, but I would say a really good finish. And ultimately we got the win. We've beaten both Manchester clubs at home in the Premier League this season. And obviously we do play for the 5,000th time. We play Man City next on Saturday. At least it's at home, I guess, in the FA Cup. But yeah, AD, what are your thoughts after the full-time whistle, 2-1 Newcastle?
Yeah, I mean it's a big win for Newcastle, and as I guess Newcastle owns Manchester.
We'll see when we play Man City again in like 3 days or whatever it is from now. But I guess maybe looking at somewhat the tail of the tape, let me just get because it's more Newcastle.
Yeah, can we talk about the title race as well?
What title race? Man United and Newcastle ain't in a title race.
No, I mean like EPL title race.
Let me we'll get to it first. I hope it actually shows. I think I can do trying to get the Premier League table up.
Okay.
12, yeah.
Like that, I guess. Yeah, that's more or less good. So first speaking on Newcastle, obviously we lost to Everton a few days ago, but then we ended up beating Man United. And I said in my first episode of the Magpie Creampie Show that the 2 home games, Everton and Man United, we have to win at least one of them. Thankfully, we did. I was expecting more to beat Everton than Man United before, last week. But regardless, we still got the win. We are 12th. I don't want to show that team in 11th, but considering that the English clubs are likely going to get the extra Champions League spots, that means most likely 8th place. 8th is getting Conference League, and Newcastle are 4 points behind Everton, who we should have maybe gotten something, but oh well. I don't say it is Joe ever yet for us to get into Europe. Especially if we are to get eliminated in the Champions League, that means we don't play we don't actually play any midweek games, more or less. If we get knocked out by Barcelona, though, I kind of hope we don't, just because I want to.
What about the FA Cup? Because isn't FA Cup games midweek?
No, we play them. We play Man City on Saturday.
No, I mean, let's say you beat Manchester City in the latter stages. Are all those going to be the weekends or still weekdays?
Weekends.
All weekends. After the international break, or let's say
my club doesn't play for 3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. That was what I was about to say. You guys play like Leagues or someone like that, or Aston Villa, and you play 3. You don't play at least Man United game for 3 weeks.
That's almost like
out of Europe and all that.
That's almost as much time you get off preseason.
Yeah, I'm like, imagine if Newcastle had that much time of rest. But yeah, I would say it's not Joe ever for us to get into Europe still. Obviously, we could do it by the back door of the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Do we beat Man City? I mean, if Forest can get a 2-2 draw at their stadium, then maybe we can get something against Man City at home at St. James's. But we'll see how that goes. And obviously, I've said at the start of the season, Man United to get Champions League football. I said 5th, but top 5 is top 5 anyway. I do think Man United eventually does get Champions League football. But it is very tight. I obviously, if you want to put some respect, Brentford, it was nice knowing you, but you didn't win yesterday. So I do think it is the top 6. I think this will be the top 6 by the end of the season. But unless Aston Villa ends up winning the Europa League and finish 6th, it is going to be only 5 English clubs.
Yeah,
And
hopefully,
that means
I don't
one
want
of-
to see 6, man.
Oh yeah, considering that the Premier League currently owns the Champions League right now.
On zero.
Yeah, actually, I want to ask you guys: do you guys want to see 6 English teams in the Champions League?
If it involves Newcastle, yes.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
I just want to see my team.
Okay. Let's say it doesn't involve Newcastle.
Then no, of course not. It's like being invited to a party whereby like almost everyone but you goes. Like Man United are actually the only sort of big 6 team that isn't in the Champions League this year. You know.
Yeah. And
but
I mean, Spurs won't be
what
next
are your
season.
thoughts on the top 5 race? I do think it's a top 5 because Chelsea beat Aston Villa 4-1 after being 1-0 down. João
Wait,
Pedro.
and then I think did João Pedro score a hat trick?
Yes, he did. He
No.
dunked on them.
Oh, he did. Oh my god, I have him in my FPL. Oh my god.
Wow. Yeah,
Imagine
you're
you
happy.
have him on the bench, third bench. But yeah, what are your thoughts? Who do you think ultimately gets the top 5? Obviously, you don't have to say the top 2. We know that's the top 2. But who gets the top 5?
I'd say for me it's between I think United and Chelsea. I think they'll have enough to get through it. I think because I think United. I know we stumbled a bit today, but still I think our form under Carrick has been good. I think it's still. I think we're still the favourites to get third. And Chelsea, I just think they have Rossini is doing a very good job. I just think they have better individual players to bail them out than Villa and Liverpool. So yeah, I think the last spot will be between Villa and Liverpool. It's tough because I think Villa, over the course of the season they've been much better than Liverpool, I feel. But in these past few weeks, Liverpool have been in better form, but at the same time they lost to Wolves. So
Well, they actually both Villa and Liverpool lost to Wolves. Wolves are back-to-back wins.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Wolves will survive, guys.
I feel like I think Europe will also be very important. I'm not saying this because I might give the slight edge to Villa to get a 5th spot simply because I think Liverpool will go all in for the Champions League. I think they have to though. I think they have to go all in for the Champions League.
I guess at the same time you could say Aston Villa with Europe.
Yeah, but no, I was coming to that. But I think Villa. I think it's very plausible that because England is so ahead of everyone else in Europe. But I think Villa could actually afford to rest some players in the Europa League, I think, and still win games because I think they're that much better than everyone else in the competition. Whereas with Liverpool, I think the Champions League is the best of the best, so you have to play a best players there. So I think that might give them the edge.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I just see from my phone. The penultimate game of the season is Aston Villa v Liverpool at Villa Park.
Wow.
Game week 37. And unless Liverpool are in the FA Cup final, that will be on a Saturday, Sunday weekend. And obviously that specific game will be before the Europa League final if Villa are to make it. So who knows how things will be like by then.
Tendeitem.
Yeah.
Can you show the fixtures for both Villa and Liverpool? I think we should look at the fixtures.
I'll start with the bigger of the 2 clubs.
Liverpool.
Let me just get it up.
Oh, nice.
If it shows. Okay, it doesn't.
Yeah, I can also pull up my phone if it doesn't work.
I don't know what's happening with Villa.
Why is it not showing? Okay, I'm just typing their name.
Yeah, I'll show.
Okay, I'll show the bigger of the 2 clubs. Obviously, Aston Villa lost 4-1 at home.
Say the better team right now at the moment.
Actually, they're both shit.
Villa's ahead, so we'll put Villa
at the moment.
Better.
So I'm just going to exclude the Europa League,
exclude the Europa League
games. Obviously, Aston Villa do not play until next Thursday, so they do have a week off because they got knocked out of the FA Cup by us. And knowing the record of Man United, Villa, I do think Man United should win.
Yeah.
And then obviously they play West Ham, and West Ham got the win. They beat them.
Right? They're not easy team. Like I think against us, like I think they play like defensively. I think they were like one of the best organized teams I've seen all season.
Yeah, and then the 6 games after the international break, and Villa are not in the FA Cup, so their first game, unless they are in the Europa League still, is going to be against Forest. They should win this specific game on the 18th. They play Fulham, and they play
against
Spurs.
Yeah.
And Spurs might be still in the relegation battle. Burnley, and then obviously the penultimate game, Liverpool, and then the final day.
Oh my god, that is rough. I think apart from Spurs, I don't think there isn't like a surefire win there, because you have to keep in mind at this stage of the season, even the relegation teams will be very difficult to play against because they're fighting.
Yeah, we just saw Forest got a draw today.
Forest Wolves won as well. Yeah,
West Ham won earlier today. Yeah. As for Liverpool, excluding the Champions League game, and I would love it if they get knocked out on Friday to Wolves.
I mean, dude, like Liverpool fans, like they're predicting a loss against
yeah.
Well, they don't care about that pickup.
The next Premier League game is against Spurs, and
knowing
their record against Spurs should be a win. But then after they play Brighton before heading for the international break and all. They play. Obviously, they could play the FA Cup game. Well, if they make it through, could play the Champions League game if they make it through against Chelsea or